Hey there, welcome back. Priorities, priorities, priorities. You know, we all have them. I know I've been gone for a while. Did you miss me? I missed you, so I'm back. Um, this video I entitled Ready, Fire, Aim. Not Ready, Aim, Fire, Ready, Fire, Aim. And what is that? Well, I've been gone, as you probably noticed, some of you people that watch me on a regular basis. I wasn't on a vacation. I'm still not on a vacation, but sometimes things present themselves and you have to drop what you're doing and act. And that's what I'm doing. Had a lot of things come up, had some opportunities come up, and I got on the diving board and just jumped right in. So I apologize for being gone for a while. And as a result, I've had to sacrifice a lot of things, including making the videos. Not much sleep, lots of travel, lots of driving. I'm about done driving. Anyhow, what I want to talk about in this video, actually, I'm not going to talk about what I've been doing. I might later, after everything kind of the dust settles, and I'll let you know what's going on. But yeah, I've just been working like crazy trying to make some stuff happen, and yeah, too much driving. Priorities and routines, they're very important. And that's one thing I told my wife the other day. It's like, you know, I just want to get back to a routine because it seems like I wake up in different places and I'm doing different things and I'm losing stuff because I forget where I put things. I don't have a usual spot to put things when you're in motion. So I've lost a few things. But we have our routines and our priorities until something great comes along. And that's what happened recently, last few weeks. And that's what I've been working on. And it's different from what people call shiny object syndrome. I'm not trying new things, you know, like I'm going to try this business model for a while and I go to someone's presentation, it's like, oh, this looks better, I could do that. It's not that. This is about things that are important, your desires, your goals, and opportunities. And opportunities don't always happen or come along at the best times in our lives. Trust me, this has not been the best time. I've had some other issues going on that I have to deal with that also taken up my time. But something presented itself and I went for it. And that's where I've been. What does ready, fire, aim mean as opposed to ready, aim, fire? I got this from one of my mentors. And basically what it comes down to is take action now. Because if you don't, the opportunity may have come around just one time. And this leads to another concept of regret. I'm working really hard on not having any more regrets in my life. And that's one thing my same mentor that taught me about Ready, Fire, Aim talked about is regrets. Don't wait till you're ready. Now, I'm guilty of this as well. What we do is if we're going to start a new business or say an exercise program, whatever, we always have these precursors, things we want to do before we actually do the thing. Well, that's basically an excuse and also procrastination. And so don't do that. So when is the right time to do this? Now. Right now. Don't wait till you're ready, because ready will never come. Trust me, I've been there. Ready never comes unless you act. So what do? You act on that thing, even if you know very little about how to get to where you want to go, but you act on it because that gives you feedback. That may give you some progress, but if it doesn't, it'll give you some feedback. You'll learn something. So act, review, adjust whatever you need to do, and act again. Keep acting, keep moving forward. Let me tell you a story from my mentor of years ago. This was basically a real estate training program. I was in a real estate investing training program years ago. And it talked about, it was a story about persistence. a story about Ready, Fire, Aim. There's a lot of little lessons in this story, and I'm only going to give you like the cliff notes on it. I'm not going to go into real details. I'm not going to talk about anyone's name, the locations, anything like that, but the principles are the same. My teacher was talking about a situation he did not too long before I met him. It was a piece of property, it was waterfront property that he wanted to buy for years. He kept sending letters and trying to get a hold of the owner of this property and saying, hey, you know what, whenever you're ready to sell, let's talk. I really am interested in this piece of property. I'd like to buy it. And so he did this month after month, year after year. Never heard anything. Or if he did, it was basically, I'm not in the position or the mood to sell right now. I'm sure he also probably asked him several times to quit sending letters because he was very persistent. So one day he got a phone call out of the blue, not from the owner of the property, but for his estate lawyer. What happened is the man had passed away. He owned quite a bit of property. And the lawyer said to my teacher, he says, hey, you know what? The family wants to move on this. They have no interest in keeping any rental property or any investments. They just want to cash out and move on. You know, the family wants to go their separate ways and do their thing with whatever they're going to inherit. And he says, as you know, this is waterfront property and it's very pricey. It's got a great view, the whole bit, yada, yada. And so the lawyer told him, he says, well, basically we've had the property appraised. We're firm on this number, and that number was probably more than he expected to ever pay for the property, but he wanted it that bad. He knew he could make this happen. So he said, this is the number, and I'm going to give you so many hours. You know, I can't remember if it was 24 or 48, but it was a very short time to perform, to buy it. And the reason why I'm calling you is because the owner kept every letter you had, and it was a big stack. And he says, I know that you're interested. So I figured, hey, you know what? You're interested. We can close this soon if you can perform, and we can, you know, we're done. However, if you can't come up with the amount needed, and there's no negotiations on this. This is where it is, cut and dry. The family wants to move. They don't want to take anything less because they believe this is what it's worth. I'll give you so many hours. Like I said, 24, 48. I don't remember what it was. Well, for my teacher, it wasn't the best of times, okay? He had a lot of projects he was doing. He was doing some construction. He was rehabbing some of his other properties. So he was pretty much cash poor. Okay, he was strapped. And I think he was sick too. He wasn't feeling well. I can't remember all the other details, but it wasn't a good time to make this thing happen. And he was telling his wife, says, I don't know. I mean, I really want this. I mean, I've been wanting this piece of property for years, and I want to have it. I really do. I think it'll be the diamond of all of my properties. And his wife said to him, you know, if you don't try, we drive by this property almost every day. Just think about the regret you'll have that you didn't, you know, go for it, try for it. Someone else bought it and now it's off the market and you're never going to get it. We don't want to have regrets. So he turned around and called everybody he knew, anybody who had like 10 cents in their pockets, to try to get enough finances together to make this happen. You know, he actually went out and I think he leveraged some of his other properties, like, hey, you know, Bob, you know, are always loaning me money and I'm really good for it, and I do my construction, I pay off on time, I pay you good in interest, blah, blah, blah. I've got some equity in some other properties. Would you be willing? And a lot of them were no, because a lot of people had all their money out. But he burned the midnight oil with phone calls and contacts and, you know, calling in favors, things like that. But anyhow, the moral of the story is that he was actually right before the 11th hour, the 1 minute till midnight scenario, to get everything he needed so he could close on this property, and he got it. So the point is, when I say ready, fire, aim, he didn't have time to prepare for this. He had been wanting to get the property. He had no idea if it would ever be sold to him or anyone else. I don't think he knew how old the guy was. I don't know what he passed away from, or just, old age. So he didn't have all of his ducks in a row because he didn't know when it was going to happen or if it would happen. But when that phone call came in, he dropped everything he was doing and acted. And he was persistent, not only with the letters the contacts he was making with the seller, the whole bit. He just let that seller know that if you're ready to sell, I'm the one I want you to call first, which is what the lawyer did. So persistence, he was very persistent. He did not let go. He wanted that building, that piece of property, that land on the water, like life and death. The other is ready, fire, aim. As soon as that call came in, he acted. He made it happen, okay? And about being ready, like I said, ready never comes. Don't procrastinate. Another teacher I had, his name's Jay Massey. You can look him up. I think he still does teaching. He was doing short-term rental teaching, how to do those. And he has some of his own sayings. I don't know if he got them from someone else, but they stuck with me ever since first time I heard him say it. When do you start? Like I said, ready, fire, aim. When do you start? Starting a new career, starting, you're looking for a life partner, asking someone out for a date, getting a better job, going back to school. If someone gives you an opportunity, say, hey, I will pay for your schooling, but you have to start today. Go. Okay? So when do you start? Right now. What is right now called? Jay Massey's term is now o'clock. What time is it? Now o'clock. Do it now. Get started. Even if it's little things, even if your life is so busy right now, try to do even a few minutes every day, whether it's exercise, whether it's learning something new, a language, learning a business model, whatever. Even if it's just a little bit, do it every day, because if you do it every day, you'll get closer and closer to your goal. Another thing Jay Massey said was get started, which we just talked about, now o'clock, and stay started. Persistence. Do it every day, okay? Daily, even with a little bit of time. Anyhow, and also sacrifice. When you go for something you really want, like this thing I've been working on, I've dropped everything. One of the sacrifices was making videos. I just wasn't anywhere where I could sit down and record. I have done driving videos, but trust me, being on metropolitan freeway, especially freeways you're not familiar with, I'm not recording nothing. I want to be around so I can record. So yeah, sometimes you have to sacrifice things. Times with your kids, time with your spouse, your job, or savings. I mean, if this is something you really want, my teacher probably went in and tried to liquidate everything he could to make this deal happen. And if it didn't work out, it could be a great loss. It might take him some time to rebuild his portfolio or his income, so even his family can eat. Sometimes you sacrifice a lot. One other thing I sacrificed the last few weeks is going to the gym, okay? Which is what I'm going to do right now once I close out this video. I need to get back. I know I've lost strength. I know I've lost some other things for not going. But one thing I haven't given up, and that's my diet. And I want to let you know, I'm very happy about this. I've lost over 70 pounds in this last year. With all the chaos, I still held to my diet for the most part. I didn't do any cheating. I didn't eat any candy. I stayed as healthy as I could, and I got on the scale and I saw I lost some more weight, which is so good. It's my blood work comes back with better numbers every time I do it. My clothes fit better. I've got smaller clothes, and I feel a lot better. So there's certain things that you can sacrifice and certain things you shouldn't. And even though I've sacrificed a lot of sleep, which I'm hoping to get caught up on here in the next few days, to get what you want out of life, it's not a straight line. Let me tell you, it's not a straight line. Sometimes things are dropped in your lap, good or bad, a death in the family, a divorce. But sometimes are great, like my teacher's situation where he got that phone call. It's now or never. So we have to make sacrifices as well. So anyhow, I was just reflecting on what I've been through the past several weeks, and I thought I would try to encapsulate it the best I could without a lot of thought and share with you, and hopefully it helps. Now o'clock. Start now. Ready, fire, aim. Do it. Whatever you need to do to get there. Sacrifice. What was it? Myron Golden says that sacrifice is replacing something of value with something of greater value. And that's why we take action, is because it's in the hopes that by doing that, we'll be in a better place than we are currently. And does it always work? No. But you'll learn something. You'll always get something out of the situation. So be persistent, ready, fire, aim, now o'clock, get started, stay started, and get to your goals and dreams. Anyhow, that's all I have for now. Don out.